Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I am Carla Sanders, the Cosmic Crone, and I am thrilled to be with you today. This is the third session of the most powerful time of a woman's life. And today I want to share with you the energetic purpose of hot flashes. Hot flashes are a signal that it's time to expand. Are your eyes rolling at me? Do I see those rolling eyes? Let me back up a step. One of the common complaints women bring to me as they're going through menopause, whether it's the early phases, late phases, or all complete, is, I am fed up and I won't take it anymore. This is an emotional jumping out of the skin. And sometimes there's a physical sensation that goes with it that's like skin crawling. I can't stand the feeling of my own skin, or I don't fit inside my body anymore. It's weird and it's uncomfortable as hell. And for some women, it can show up as weight gain or bloating. It's very common at menopause to gain extra weight. And hot flashes may also be part of this picture. And yes, hormonal changes are physical triggers for these sensations and feelings, and there are other triggers as well. See if any of these sound familiar. Weariness of caretaking everyone. Tired of being the CEO manager of the lives of all the members of the family. Fed up with living with grown-ups who still expect to be catered to like children, especially if that grown-up is a spouse. Over and done with being the dutiful daughter or sister-in-law or employee, always on call. Going on strike from the relentless emotional labor expected of a woman in modern times. Add to this the really big shifts that can happen. You may wake up and one day your career or your job just doesn't fit anymore. Or in this world of economic, the crazy economic shit that goes down and pandemic shit that goes down, your job disappears. And you have to figure out what's next. This, by the way, is what Napoleon Hill calls Sly Disguise of Opportunity. It looks like a disaster, but really it's a great old big door opening. So your career or job doesn't fit anymore, or it disappears. A health crisis might bring a tectonic shift to your priorities, or some other crisis like divorce, death, some other tragedy can bring a tectonic shift to your priorities, or a spiritual awakening cracks you open. These are all things that can turn up at midlife, and that's when menopause is happening. So does any of this feel familiar? Yeah, think about it. Yeah, probably more than one. Probably you've got an array of these things, and it's for sure that if you ignore the small signs, your soul will send you a big sign. Your soul does not care what you have to go through to fulfill your destiny. Let me say that again. Your soul does not care what you have to go through to fulfill your destiny. Okay, I can feel the questions starting to bubble up. What does my destiny have to do with hot flashes again? Well, think about this. When you were young, you had dreams and desires. They may have been fed by fairy tales or Disney movies, but you thought at least you knew what you wanted, or you knew what you were supposed to want. These things motivate us, whether they're authentic to who we are or whether we're just trying to figure shit out. We get motivated when we're young by dreams and desires. So how big your desires and the vision you had for yourself was, well, that's reflected by your temperament, your upbringing, your resources, the models you had in life. And it also weaves back into the way the feminine wound that we talked about yesterday, the day before yesterday, how that impacted your self-concept. So you made decisions about life choices that either conformed to your desires or went against them, and then your desires got buried. Life will bury your desires. And at menopause, those buried desires wake up and they find their way to the surface again. They burn through your habits and patterns of being, and this is where hot flashes come in. And your skin feels too small for your body, like you're a snake shedding skin. And the extra pounds you may add, you actually begin to feel like they are a misplaced urge towards expansion. You know you need to get bigger. I actually have a friend who, at midlife, at menopause, she became a channel. Ascended masters started coming through her, and she put on something like 30 pounds overnight. And it was partly a grounding and an expanding of her embodiment so that she could carry this new energy. And for some people, it's different. It's the resistance to what's wanting to come through, or not understanding what it is. It's almost, this is another thing that happens. Aside from metabolism changing as our hormones change, our appetite changes. We get hungrier, and we don't know what we're hungry for. So we eat, because food is easy. It's always there. We could go on and on about this. There are food and eating experts who could really take you through a lot of the reasons this starts to happen, but just understand that this, a lot of times, this is your soul calling for expansion and grounding, rooting. So, where are we? Okay. This is how I felt right here, this next one. Your life, as you have lived it up to now, feels like it belongs to someone else, not you. And that's, I woke up one day and said, kind of like the Talking Heads song, this is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife. And I'm looking at, this is not my life. Who's living this life? It's hard to stop living that life, because chances are it's a life you were trained to live. It's a life that you put on to protect you from lots of unknown things. And you wake up and you say, this is not my life, but what is my life? How do I leap from this to this? This is the adventure we're on, ladies and gentlemen. It's not only women, although with women we feel it really intensely for all the ways I've just said: the emotional labor, the caretaking, the feminine wound. Okay. So, what happens in the middle of all this, at menopause, as things are changing in the chaos of menopause, you feel in your bones that you have a big purpose. You can feel how you're meant to change the world. You have a creative and vital contribution to make beyond what you've done so far. And you can feel that you have to change your own life. Say that again. You feel with bone deep certainty you have to change your own life. And what's so fascinating is, once again, you step forward. I have to change my life. You fall back into the old pattern and conditioning. Because this is so scary to step forward. And this is the soul carrying you, carrying you. Here's your sign. Here's your sign. You ask for a sign. You ask for a sign. Would you rather have a Mack truck flatten you, and when you get up, you are reborn? Sometimes it works like that. So what happens, the other thing that happens, it's really scary, and I will admit to you, I will own with you right now as you're listening to me and saying, yeah, I don't know. I notice people are popping on and off. So maybe this is scary. Your contracts with life and the people in your life are up for renegotiation. Menopause sets you up for this. There's a fire in your heart and your womb, an intolerance of bullshit, a refusing to settle for bad sex, being taken for granted, low pay, putting yourself last, deferring your desires, or not knowing what you desire because nobody ever cared what you wanted. And you learn to repress it. It can be confusing because sometimes all you feel is tired. I've been through phases of hesitating to even talk to women about, you are here for something bigger, because I know how fucking tired we are. And the thought of changing the world or creating something big like a business or an art or changing your career or making a new life for yourself or picking yourself up after a divorce, any of these things can feel just too damn hard, too damn tired. Especially when the world is still relentlessly saying, what can I get from you? What can I get from you? What can you give me? How can you serve me? How can you be a servant to me? So, relax. Don't ever tell a pissed off woman to relax. I just made a big mistake. But I mean it. Relax. Rest. The first thing that you need at this point in your life is rest. And then you have a place to breathe and give yourself some space to say, what if the thing that is really exhausting is living the old life while suppressing your desire for more and better, judging your desire for more and better. Let's not run that together. Repressing and judging your desire for more and better. So if you are keeping yourself small, hiding out, continuing to be all things to all people, caring what people think, judging yourself because you feel unwell, unsexy, unsatisfied, so there must be something wrong with you because you have so much to be thankful for. Yeah. This is big stuff. Breathe. Oh my God, if I had a nickel for every time a woman said, I should just be grateful for what I have. Or someone said to her, why aren't you grateful for what you have? You can be oozing with gratitude and appreciation for what you have. It's a given. It's fundamental. You are grateful. You shall be grateful. It is magical to be grateful. And you're still allowed to say, as grateful as I am for this, I want more, I want better, I want different, I want change, and I want help. You get to be grateful for what you have and lean into and open your arms to and open your legs to expansion. Your soul will not let you be. It will take you down and take you out if you do not heed this call to expansion, growth, and changing your life at midlife, at menopause. We call it the change of life because it is your invitation and permission to change. Yeah, change. Heal old wounds, embrace the urge to expansion. That is one of the requirements of menopause. Yesterday we talked about healing old wounds, and today I am goading you into the urge to expansion because we have so much resistance to it. Now, it is not for me or anyone else to tell you what that looks like. We talk about don't play small, think big, act big, be big, go big or go home. Well, there is a masculine or we'll call it kind of a masculine way of going big, of being ruthless. Just know that big and small, it's all relative. My own recent work with my coach and her horses, I did a horse retreat and got coached by horses. Talk about getting under the skin to the root of what's going on and what have you not seen before. I went in there saying, I'm going to face my fears of being big, and what I learned was that was completely irrelevant. It is irrelevant and relative, big or small. They're code words. What does that code mean to you? You get to decide. The point is, you are enough for whatever you desire, and knowing what you desire is where your work is. And then allowing that desire to get planted inside of you and blossom and emerge and carry you forward. Desire is God calling. So you want to know, what does God want me to do? What does Goddess want me to do? What am I meant to do? What is my purpose? Then get in touch with your desire. Find that desire. It's a huge tool. Aside from its divine coming in from the cosmos, rising from the earth, it's also really useful in making plans and figuring things out. So what's really important here is your soul's deepening. How deep are you willing to go? And the expansion and depth, the deepening world, that's soul work. And the rising up of your spirit, the expanding into the cosmos, the love and light realms, actually. You know, the leaves on the trees and the flowers and the fruits of our lives, how much you can be alive and arising in spirit is absolutely relative to how deep you can go in your soul. There's whole teachings about that. That's the work of initiation. So what it does translate to, rather than big and small, is to think about more and better. More and better. Really? You might feel yourself kind of contracting around that or cringing around that. More and better. If you were to close your eyes and just think about, for a moment, about if I didn't believe in my limits, if I really believed that I were a limitless being, that I could really truly have exactly what I want, if I didn't have all these voices clamoring for my attention, these responsibilities, duties, you don't actually get rid of all that, but if you could just quiet it down for a minute and feel what you feel inside. What is the more and better you would be asking for? What could you allow yourself to see? And it might be more and better sleep. It might be a month-long vacation. It might be nobody pulling at your skirts and saying, "Heal my life." Thank you, Mary Oliver, for that one. But once you get that, then the more and better comes in. And to quote Mary Oliver again, her beautiful thing, "What will you do with your one wild and precious life?" is not about going out and saving the world or conquering mountains or doing big things. It's about noticing the grasshopper in the field, the dewdrops on the flowers. It's about being in the moment. So, more and better it's about what you need it to be and what you are purposefully meant to be. So more, expanding into more and expanding into better and grounding into presence with this, that is very important for allowing and knowing what is right for you. So more of what brings you joy. Better experience of life. More pleasure. More feeling in your body. More sensory experience. More alignment. Better outcomes. And if you're desiring more ease in the material world, yes, more money, better support, better means of having things, more ease. The specifics are up to you. You get to decide. You get to feel into. And you get to notice, part of the work is noticing when you are holding your desire down. Oh, that's too much. I don't need that much. This is enough. Wanting that, probably something wrong with it. If you have any shoulds or too much, just enough. If the word just or should or too comes into this exercise of what do I want, that's a clue that you are repressing your true desire. So pay attention to that. Part of the work is, yeah, I really want that. Fuck it, I really want that. Yeah, I really want that. Not that, that. Yeah. This is no small thing, ladies and gentlemen. This is no small thing. This is a big thing. This is the cosmos in a teacup. It is the work. What do you want? You get to have it. You get to co-create it. So here you are in perimenopause, menopause, maybe even cronehood like me. And you may have been led to expect that menopause is an ending, a contraction, a disappearance, a time to stop desire. And you may be actually feeling that in a reduction or a complete loss of libido, of desire for sex, of inability to orgasm. It may be playing out in your love life. You may be feeling a lot of loss, a loss of function. Things, hearing and eyes and joints don't work the way they used to. The hair is no longer brown. Of course, you can get all that stuff out of a bottle, but some things you can't get out of a bottle. And the fact is, the bottles, you get to do what you want, but the point is to embrace the chaos, the shift, grieve what seems to be lost, because when things change, something is lost. And then celebrate what is new and alive, what is working better than it used to, what is available now that wasn't available before, what is being born, because something is always being born. I did a talk recently in my group about birthing wisdom, birthing power. This is the most powerful time of a woman's life. So, I wrote down here, this is a lie, that it's a time of ending and contraction and disappearance and loss. And that's an inaccurate statement. I have just described, yes, there is a place, a holy, sacred place for grieving what is lost, because by the time we get to this point, we have lost many things. I love the poem by Elizabeth Bishop, The Art of Losing. We've lost cities, countries, careers, identities, keys, relationships. The art of losing isn't hard to master. The art of grieving is something we may be lacking experience in. Grief and praise. So do the grief and then praise what is becoming. Menopause is expansion. It is liberation. It is more and better. And it is a new way of managing your energy, a new way of creating with grace and ease, a new way of experiencing pleasure, a new way of being in relationship with beloveds. And it's a learning process. Sex, pleasure, being in your body, feeling at home in your skin, the vastness that's inside of you, all of this is orgasmic. The gift of orgasm at midlife is homecoming, bringing your body and soul into union. Orgasm, sexuality at menopause, midlife, and elderhood has a different function. It is still about creating and bringing things from the cosmos into life, but it's bringing wisdom in. It is bringing knowledge. It is bringing an integration. It is bringing sacred union and mystery into life. This is a mystery. Menopause and what comes after is a mystery. I'm sure I have said things that are very different from anything you might have heard before. Maybe it even sounds crazy. Maybe you close the door and say, I'm not listening to that. That's crazy. That's nuts. Come back and listen again. Come back later. In Sex After Menopause, Pleasure Revival, it is a short immersion. We're together for 8 weeks, and we are in a small, intimate group, and we are just beginning to pull back the curtain on the mystery of menopause and the sexuality, the pleasure, the new ways of being in your body, being orgasmic, that gives you access to this vast space inside of you, that gives you access to the dreams and desires that you may have spent a lifetime subverting, repressing, or chasing only to discover that now you want something different. We explore the cosmic connection. We explore simple and profound ways of healing old wounds that allow this space, this vastness that is you now to grow. So it really doesn't matter if your desire, your purpose, your fulfillment is making biscuits and gardens or millions of dollars, foundations to feed the world, a painting, taking care of your grandchildren, or taking care of all of the children. This is orgasmic energy rising through you, and your sexuality being a resource for you, for this expansion. And more than anything, you are making more space in your life for you. You may have been on the back burner for 40, 50, 60 years. No more. No more. Put yourself on the front burner. Those hot flashes again. So do you have to throw away your old life, your old relationships, your old self? Sometimes you do. But often when you change, when you take up the space that you came here to take up, your world will reorganize itself around you. People may at first be shocked. What have you done with my mother? What have you done with my wife? When you change, the world reorganizes itself around you. They either fall away or they learn to love you as you are. They learn to hear the invitation. I was just with a group of women, and several of them talked about this. How by stepping into their power, making the decisions that were right for their souls, embracing the expansion that was burgeoning in them, the other people in their lives started doing really weird shit, like studying herbalism, taking up meditation, supporting them in their new endeavors when before it was like, no way. I love that. This is what happens. So it takes skill, it takes support, and it takes a lot of nourishing pleasure. Would you like to join us? Sex After Menopause Pleasure Revival starts next week. And when you register today, I'm adding a bonus of Divine Feminine Astrology reading. So I invite you right now, embrace the urge to expand and join me in Sex After Menopause Pleasure Revival. Do it today for that extra bonus of the Divine Feminine Astrology reading, and come back tomorrow because I will be talking about sex and pleasure after menopause. We will go deeper into what does it mean, this orgasmic expansion that I'm talking about. So have yourself a good evening. I'm going to put the link to Sex After Menopause, the webpage where you can read more and enroll, choose your payment plan, and get started. And after you've done that, I wish you a very good evening. Thank you. Many blessings.